Hello creeps! Andy here, and today I have another book haul for you. Here are the books that I have purchased in the last however long. And then I also have some stuff from my P.O. box that we will open together as well. Let's get started. Did I say hello creeps? I can't remember. Anyways, I bought some used books and some new books. This one was the first one that I bought. This is called The She-Devil in the Mirror by Horatio Castellanos Moya. Forgive me, I know I pronounced that incorrectly. A few videos ago I told you that my husband and I were planning to go to El Salvador, that's where his family's from, and meet some of his family that he's never met before. So I wanted to get a horror author from El Salvador that I could read while I was over there. But unfortunately, I was sick and couldn't go, per usual. But that's okay, eventually we'll go back. But I still bought the book, and I'm so excited to read it and just see what horror writers are like from the country that my husband's family is from. So this just says, Laura Rivera can't believe what has happened. Her best friend has been killed in cold blood in her own living room. Nobody knows who pulled the trigger or who might have masterminded the murder. But Laura, an upper crust young woman used to getting her own way, will not rest easy until she finds out. Laura's dizzying, delirious, hilarious, and blood-curdling monologue carries the reader on a rough and tumble ride through the chaos of post-Civil War San Salvador. A detective story of pulse-quickening suspense. So I'm really excited to read this. Let me know if you guys have ever read anything from him. I don't think that he's just a horror writer, but very excited to read that. I also bought this. This is Hexus by Charlene Ellsby. Last month I read Violent Faculties by her, and I went to my used bookstore because remember last video I said that I had all the books on Kindle that I wanted to read for this next month. I didn't purposefully buy one or two of them because I was like, oh, my bookstore might have them, because I know they have a pretty large Ray Bradbury section, and I knew that they had some other writers too. So I went there to look for those specific books. Couldn't find them, unfortunately, but I did find this, which I was very excited about since I really enjoyed Violent Faculties. I've already read it, but we'll talk about that in my reading wrap up. But this one just says, I'm not relentless. Relentless makes it sound like there's something called relent and that I'm lacking it. In that sense, I'm not relentless, but perhaps I'm unrelenting. I could relent if I wanted to, but he always has to die. I mean, always in two senses. At all times and all of the time. I can't kill him all of the time. That would take too long. But of all the times I did. I'd do it again. I could relent if I wanted to, but instead I do it again. If he's different, then he's the same, and if he's the same, he's got to go. What a life I would live if I only had to kill him one time, but death does not always do him in. So that is actually a pretty good description or a feel of how it feels to read this book. So it's very almost stream of consciousness-esque. I said we weren't going to get into it, but anyways, the next one I bought, oh, I'm so excited. I bought Ronald Malfi's The Narrows. Now, if anyone could tell me why this is, because he wrote a different book this year, Small Town Horror, and typically when you buy a book new, it comes in hardback, and then you have to wait probably like a year, and then eventually it comes out in paperback. So I was like, oh, maybe this book is republished, but it just says publication date. It says first edition, October 2024. So I don't think it's a republished book, but I also don't know why it's not a hardcover. I'm very confused. So if anyone knows, let me know, please. But anyways, it just says, in the aftermath of a terrible storm, the town of Stillwater, Maryland tries to recover what it has lost. From flooded roads and houses to ruined businesses, the residents of the town begin to clean up and return to normal. In the midst of the cleanup, people begin to see things. Matthew Crawley spies his father in the woodlands above the Narrows, but that cannot be possible. Maggie Quiddentalk nearly hits a child with a car only to find an empty road lying before her, and in the middle of it all, Sergeant Ben Journal is thrust into an impossible investigation. Animals are being slaughtered, their brains systematically removed from their bodies. Something is happening to the town of Stillwater. Something dark and ancient and evil has its grip on everyone. Oh, I'm so excited. The saying goes, still waters run deep, but no one in Stillwater is prepared just how deep they run. and no one can possibly be ready for what they might find waiting for them in the dark. Tell me this does not sound so fun. I already have to move some of my reading around this month, so I might actually end up reading this guy because this sounds fantastic. I'm so excited for it. And then the next one that I bought here was Rachel Harrison's So Thirsty. Now this is a vampire book. I don't typically read a ton of vampire stories, but because I said I had to change some reading around, I was like, well, it's October, maybe I'll get it and read it. It seems like it's more than just vampires. I think there's more under the surface than that. I think I read that it was more about like friendship and aging and stuff, and so I thought it might be interesting. But it just says, a woman must learn to take life by the throat after a night out leads to irrevocable changes in this juicy, thrilling novel. It says Sloane Parker is dreading her birthday. She doesn't need a reminder she's getting older or that she's feeling indifferent about her own life. Her husband surprises her with a birthday weekend getaway, not with him, but with Sloane's longtime best friend, troublemaker extraordinaire Naomi. Sloane anticipates a weekend of wine tasting and cozy robes and strategic avoidance of issues she'd rather not confront, such as her husband's repeated infidelity. But when they arrive at the rental cottage, it becomes clear Naomi has something else in mind. She wants Sloane to stop letting things happen to her, for Sloane to really live. So Naomi orchestrates a wild night out with a group of mysterious strangers, only for it to take a horrifying turn that changes Sloane's and Naomi's lives literally forever. The friends are forced to come to terms with some pretty essential consequences in this bloody, seductive novel about how it's never too late to find satisfaction, even though it might taste different than expected. So yeah, I think this sounds more than just vampires, and I thought it would be a good book to read this month. The next one I bought, let me know if you guys have read anything from this author, but it's called My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa, oh gosh, how do you pronounce her last name? Moshfegh? Correct me please with my pronunciation, but basically, I don't know, this just caught my attention. This lady on the cover just looks so over life, and I've been wanting to read books that make you feel kind of dead inside or numb, and so this might be it. It just says the shocking and strangely tender story of a young woman's effort to duck the ills of the world with the help of one of the worst psychiatrists in literature. I don't know. Our narrator should be happy, shouldn't she? She's young, thin, pretty, a recent Columbia graduate, works at an easy job at a hip art gallery, lives in an apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, paid for, like the rest of her needs, by her inheritance. But there is a hole in her heart, and it isn't just the loss of her parents or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her or the sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend, Riva. It's the year 2000 in the city aglitter with wealth and possibilities. What could be so terribly wrong? Both tender and blackly funny, merciless and compassionate, My Year of Rest and Relaxation is a powerful answer to that question and a showcase for the gifts of one of our major writers working at the heights of her powers. So I don't know what that is. I have no idea how I will feel about that book, but it just caught my attention, so I had to get it. So this is one of the Ray Bradbury ones, The Halloween Tree. This is the one that I looked for at my used bookstore because they do have a pretty large Ray Bradbury section, but it wasn't there. And when I went to get it on Kindle, I think it was the same price as the book, so I was like, oh, I might as well buy the book. But this one just says, on Halloween night, 8 trick-or-treaters gather at the haunted house by the edge of town, ready for adventure. So this one, you guys said that it was actually a movie too, so I definitely want to read that and watch that for Halloween. I also got Dead Leaves. Oh no, you couldn't buy this one on Kindle, so I had to purchase this one. But anyways, this one's just short stories, and they're definitely more, I mean, it says 9 tales from the witching season, and it's called Dead Leaves. But it is much more about fall, or it feels much more fall than it does Halloween. I read this one too. So there's a pumpkin on it. I was expecting more Halloween stories, but a lot of them, they're just like, oh, this story, it happens to take place on Halloween night, but it doesn't really feel as Halloween as I would have hoped, but it was very fall. So if you want a fall book, that might be a good one. There's some really fun stories. I also bought this one, A Graveyard for Lunatics, and this one just says it's Halloween night 1954 and a young film-obsessed science fiction scriptwriter follows a cryptic invitation from the giant Maximus Films backlot to an eerie graveyard where Hollywood buries its skeletons. There he makes a terrifying discovery and thrusts him into a maelstrom of of intrigue and mystery into the dizzy exhilaration of the movie industry at the height of its glittering power. Here are monocled directors, ham-handed studio heads, obsessive actors, fanatic devotees, and one glorious special effects genius. All part of the tarnished golden age of Tinseltown, all remembered with unmatched brilliance by the masterful Ray Bradbury. So this one though, the only problem with this one, because I bought it, I'm like, okay, well it takes place on Halloween, it's in a graveyard, maybe it would be fun to read. This is actually number 2 in a book series, and I still don't know if I have to read that one in order to read this one first. So if you guys have read either of these. Okay, it's number 2 in the Crumley Mysteries, and the first book is called Death is a Lonely Business. So if you guys have read these, please let me know if I have to read that one to read this one, or if I can just read this one by itself. I don't know. So those are the books that I purchased this month. I did have one book sent to me, so let me read you that one, and then we'll get into the P.O. Box stuff as well. I also got the Medusa Psalms. This one was sent to me, not by the author, but by the publisher. This is by Kyle Tutcher. This is from Crystal Lake Publishing, and it says, "Welcome to Walpurgis County, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs and every shadow hides a darker truth. Kyle Tutcher invites you on a chilling journey through 10 stories and 2 novellas that unveil the grim history and malevolent folklore of America's most cursed terrain." Okay, I am so excited for this. This sounds awesome. From haunted mountains to deranged cults, from cosmic horror to ancestral vendettas, each tale plunges you deeper into the realm where monsters roam freely and secrets fester in the blood-soaked soil. In this collection, exorcists battle ancient evil, time bends and distorts reality, and the unsuspecting collide with the macabre. Meet a father consumed by grief and vengeance, a woman trapped in temporal abyss, and a conspiracy theorist facing an occult agenda that threatens humanity's very existence. Encounter witches burning from within, possessed souls seeking vengeance, and hybrids born of unholy alliances. The Medusa Welcome to Walpurgis County is a symphony of horror, suspense, and supernatural, weaving together tales of haunted houses, demonic possession, and cosmic conspiracies with echoes of alternative history and the looming specter of a new world. Tutcher's dark imagination transforms every landscape into a battleground of madness and despair. Embrace the terror that lurks beneath the surface of Walpurgis County. Dare to cross the county lines and immerse yourself in a world where nightmares are reality and survival means confronting the darkest corners of the human soul. Ah, this sounds so fun. Okay, I'm very excited to read this. The cover definitely caught my attention. The name caught my attention. But I've actually been really wanting some creepy, like haunted mountains type of books to read. So I'm actually really freaking excited to read this. Okay, let's get into the P.O. Box stuff real quick, and then I will let you go. And then I'm not really sure what was sent to my P.O. Box. Like this one I have no idea what this is. So we will figure it out together. Anyways, I hope everybody's October is going well. It has been very hot in LA, so it hasn't really felt very October-ish. Let's see what this is. The Spirit Hunter series, D.S. Quinton, a grimoire dark? Is that how you pronounce that? I don't know how to pronounce anything, I'm an idiot. Hellish Spirit, Hear Me Clearly. What is this? This looks so cool. Okay, I feel like I'm unwrapping something I shouldn't be unwrapping, you know? Okay, let's take a peek in here. This is a presentation if I ever seen one. And we got some cloth. You'll never guess it. It's a book! Okay, wow. This was a serious presentation. All right, so this is called a Grimoire Dark by D.S. Quinton. God, these covers are so cool. This is why I love doing this, because I get sent so many things from like independent authors or smaller publishers, and they're just things that you wouldn't see otherwise. And this cover is so neat. Let's check out the book underneath. Oh, wow, I've never seen a hardcover like that before. Interesting. Okay. So this says, a secret past, unimaginable horror. Can she slay the monster who wants her dead? New Orleans, 1963. All Del LaRoche ever wanted was a normal life, having spent the last decade in an orphanage. The 18-year-old sets out to find a job and a home so she can care for her mentally handicapped friend, but suddenly forced to confront a supernatural heritage she never knew about. Del is warned of an ancient malicious spirit coming for her soul. Skeptical at first, the teenage orphan resists learning voodoo to combat the terrifying Gris man, but as she discovers her latent powers, Del realizes protecting her special needs friend means embracing a hellish destiny. With thousands of souls at stake, can Del defeat the monstrous legend? So it's the first book in the Spirit Hunter supernatural thriller series. So if you like black magic, strong female protagonists, and urban legends, then maybe this one is for you. Cool. Thank you so much. That was an experience opening that, and it's a beautiful book. So I know I have so many books to get through. Eventually I'll get through them though. Eventually. One day. One of these days. Okay, I also got this guy. Okay, this is called Failure to Comply. I got the note. And you told me how to pronounce your name, which I super appreciate because I'm an idiot and can't read. So this is by Kavar. Again, it looks really interesting. It just says, a deviant self-hacker with 3 arms, 2 stomachs, and no name is on the run from RSCH, a high-tech authoritarian government that mandates wellness and carves and contours of truth itself. When they are kidnapped at Axe Point to be mined for forbidden memories, they struggle against RSCH's medical abuse to recapture their history. Sorry, it's meant to look kind of funny, so it's just my brain is having a hard time reading it. Reunite with their loved ones and rewrite their future, or risk remaining patient forever. This is so interesting. This sounds interesting. He wrote that it's kind of like a weird science fiction kind of House of Leaves thing. Oh, and he signed it too. Thank you. That's so nice. So yeah, this sounds really interesting. Oh, he signed it too. I love signed books. It's just so nice. So yeah, that one sounds really interesting too, and the cover is really catching my attention. So I'm really excited to read it. I just love looking and seeing all the design details that go into every book. Isn't it so cool? And then the last guy that we got here is this one, The Bad Things We Do by Chris Archeski, maybe? Thank you so much for the note. And so this, I believe, is just a book of short stories. Again, isn't it so interesting just to see what people come up with? Yeah, okay, 8 bad decisions, 8 terrifying stories. In this debut collection, author Chris unleashes an octet of relentless horror, darkness summoned by the often ordinary choices we make and the extraordinarily horrific consequences that follow. An animal rescue influencer desperately stages his next video with monstrous results. A trio of criminals discovers their latest victim has an unlikely defender, and a self-seeking babysitter learns that the real reason children should fear their bedroom closets. These and more polarizing tales of monsters, madness, and murder await. These stories are not for the faint of heart. Those are just the kind of stories that I enjoy. So thank you so much. That is so nice. So I'm very excited to read that as well. And thank you for the lovely note. That is so kind. And oh wait, shoot, there's one more. Okay. I've also had a few people reach out and tell me that they had issues delivering to my P.O. box for some reason. So if I haven't gotten something from you, that might be the case. I might honestly change my P.O. box within the next, maybe after this month, because it just seems to have issues. So I don't know. I apologize if something has not been delivered to me or if it's been returned. I didn't even know they did that. And then somebody wrote me and said that their package was returned for some reason. But anyways, this is by Ian Reid. This is Faux. And I'm very excited to read this. Somebody messaged me and said that they were sending this, or that they had sent this. It says, "We don't get visitors, not out here, we never have." In Ian Reid's second haunting philosophical puzzle of a novel set in the near future, Junior and Henrietta live a comfortable, isolated life on a farm, far from city lights but in close quarters with each other. One day a stranger from the city arrives with alarming news. Junior has randomly been selected to travel far away from the farm, very far away. The most unusual part, arrangements have already been made so that when he leaves, Henrietta won't have a chance to miss him, because she won't be left alone, not even for a moment. Henrietta will have company, familiar company. Told in Reed's sharp and evocative style, Foe examines the nature of domestic relationships, self-determination, and what it means to be or not be a person, an eerily entrancing page-turner. It churns with uneasy suspense and the first words to its shocking finale. I am so intrigued by this. Interesting. So thank you so much for sending this to me. I know this one was one of the ones that was like a pain to get delivered. So I'm very excited to read this. I really appreciate it. And I'm very thankful anybody who just wants to send me, I mean, you don't have to send me a book, but I just mean when people do send me a book, I understand you want to share your favorite works. That's what I do on here, is tell you guys all of the favorite books that I've read. So I totally get it. So anyways, I very much so appreciate it. It's not necessary. You do not have to do that, but I do appreciate it. I just, again, wanted to thank any publisher or writer or anybody who sent me a book. I really do appreciate every book that's sent to me. And I know that I'm behind on books from authors, but I'm going to catch up eventually. But anyways, thank you so much. I really, really, really do appreciate it. But anyways, those are all of the books that I've purchased or been sent in the past month or so. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another horror video. Bye guys! Also let me know if you've read any of these and how you feel about them. Okay, thanks.